I'm standing in front of the house at 253 Willard Street. If you're unfamiliar with the story, 2 years ago, May 2nd, 2015, Ruth and her family that lived here were the victims of arson. This is the aftermath that you see left over. The house is unlivable and the family is destroyed. Her son Michael was badly burned, thankfully is still with us. Her stepson Joseph was not so lucky as he lost his life in the fire. A young lady set this fire in revenge, and the family has been left to pick up the pieces ever since. They've had to move a few times, replace most of their possessions, the ones they could afford to. Basically, they put their lives back together, they found a new place to live, and they're putting the pieces back together. They've learned to celebrate Joseph's life more than mourn his death. But now, as the cycle of suffering continues, because of the state of the property as a result of the fire, Ruth has actually been charged with blight and public nuisance, criminal offenses. She faces fines and jail time. Our hope for this video is that we can put an end to their concerns about being criminally charged, that we can bring justice to the situation. The young lady who did it is in prison, but Ruth and her family are still faced with the possibility of a criminal offense because they don't have the money to either tear the house down or restore it back to a livable condition. We're not asking for any money. We just want this video seen. We want you to share it. We just want this video to be shown to the people or hit the eyes of the people that know what to do and how to get out of this. This family shouldn't have to continue to suffer because of a criminal act of another person. This family shouldn't have to suffer for being the victims of a crime. We're going to go inside and look at the aftermath and devastation of a family who lost everything, including a son. It's an emotional video and a heavy-hearted video, but if you'd like to see the aftermath, join us inside. Some of this is water damage, some of it's probably weather damage from the open holes in the house over time. You can see several things, including the pet's bowl, were left just the way they were the night of the fire. And the family had to evacuate. The kitchen table still has plates and dishes on it by the remains of food. Their last meal here. Ruth's son Michael was badly burned in the fire, but thankfully he's made mostly a full recovery and is a pretty happy, healthy young man. Dish is still in the sink. It seems awful to put something like this in the terms of financial loss. But right now, that's what it results in. You can see these items on the table. This happened May 2nd, 2015. Ruth and Gary were planning to get married May 14th, 2015, I apologize. So these were the things they were buying and collecting for their wedding invitations. This was just one of the many things that were destroyed in the fire, one of the many dreams that were lost. I was told holes like this one have to be made by the firefighters to see if there's fire actually inside the wall. So that's actually damage intentionally done. That was the family's couch. This was their living room. A brand new couch. This was a television. Everything's melted away but an interior panel. It's amazing to see someone's life, what the last night of their home and dream looked like. It amazes me to see some things still almost perfectly intact while other things completely demolished. This is Michael's room. The fire was started on the front porch, and Michael's room sits right above the front porch. So his room took a lot of the damage and most of the water, as I understand it. A lot of this was damage done by the water after it sat, absorbed into the drywall and the structure. So everything you see here was either lost completely or had to be replaced. A little bit was salvageable, but not a lot. The things they've needed, they've replaced. The things that were luxuries, they just have to go without now. Now the family is financially responsible for the whole mess you see here. To clean it up, to do away with it. It's amazing to think you can actually go to jail for being a victim of a crime. This was Joseph's room, the young man who lost his life as a result of the fire. 14 years old. So Michael and Joseph were asleep here that night. The fire was started on the front porch. The smoke rose up into their rooms. Michael was pretty badly burned. Faced life-threatening injuries, and it was very touch and go for a little while with his condition. The good folks at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, did amazing things, and he fought like a champion. And he's still with us here today. Fortunately, Joseph didn't get the same chance to fight. He passed away later that night. What you're walking through right now is their daughter's bedroom. Fortunately, she wasn't home that night, so she wasn't harmed or injured physically. Of course, as with any vacant home, people would probably come in here and left additional trash. So one tragedy, one careless act by a person changed a family's whole history. And 2 years later, they still can't move on because they have this to deal with. Ruth said that was her mother's KitchenAid mixer, a family heirloom that'll never be able to be replaced. Now this is the basement. This was Ruth and Gary's bedroom. They had pets that were lost. Probably something people never think about when something like this happens. You can imagine it's still very, very hard for the family to walk through the house. A lot of painful and devastating memories come up, and as much as you hate it, there are probably things that you just get tired of reliving and remembering. And like I said, we're just hoping to get this family's story out there, show what they're up against, so that hopefully people can share this video and get it in front of the right set of eyes. Get it in front of somebody who knows something, who can help them. Of all the burdens that they've had to face, going to jail shouldn't be one.